This is by far the hardest topic I've ever had to deal with. And that topic is minors and paganism. And what happens when you get messaged by somebody who is a minor and wants to know about paganism and how to approach their parents that are very Christian about paganism, and just what to do. And that is a message that I recently got. And there's just so much to say and so little time to say it. This is why I want to open up this video to my subscribers and people who watch this video, because I think that, first of all, I'm not a professional, I'm not an expert, I'm not a teacher, and I'm only in my 20s. I haven't had that much life experience. Unlike some of you who do have a lot of life experience, who may be teachers and professionals and just watch me because I'm entertaining for some reason, and you guys probably know a little bit more how to deal with these types of questions than I do. Um, Please, if you have a comment, a story that you'd like to share, some advice, please comment, please, because I want to urge the person who messaged me to not only watch this, but keep an eye on the comments, because there are people who know a lot more than I do that can help you. This video is going to be about my best advice, but in the long run, even though I'm very flattered that you came to me, I still don't know that much. So hopefully some people will leave some comments. I'm also going to post a link to a user called CharmingPixieFlora. Some of you may know her. She did a video on this exact subject, and some of this video will probably echo a little bit of that. Some of it will be on purpose and some of it will not be on purpose. But she did cover this video. She did cover this topic, so I'll post a link to that video. I guess I should open this up with basically her story was that her uber Christian mom found her book of shadows and urged her to throw it away, and didn't take it, which is surprising to me, but told her to rip it up because it was basically, oh, you're inviting Satan into our house. That whole thing. If you were from a Christian household like I was, even though my parents aren't that bad, some of us have been through this situation, so you are not alone by any means. When I was 12 or 13, that's the age that I found paganism, specifically Wicca, and basically my parents took all my stuff too, but they basically told me that when I was 18 and I still felt the same way, that I could come back to it. And, well, long story short, I did. I went back to Christianity for a while, which is actually kind of hilarious, and then years later, I started kind of questioning myself again and disagreeing with a lot of things, and here I am. So, that's my little story. I've been there. I guess I should start this with saying things to minors is very hard, because legally, a lot of us are not allowed to really do anything for you. I'm sorry. Kind of like what Flora said, we are not your parents. We are not your parents. It's kind of a reason why a lot of pagan groups or covens who have study groups about paganism will not take in minors. Some of them will take them with parental consent, but that still gets hard because, say it's a signature, signatures can get forged. This doesn't go for all pagan groups, but the majority of them. Because the thing is that if a pagan group takes in a minor and the parent finds out, they can get sued because you are still a minor and you're not an adult. It's why a lot of pagan groups will take people who are usually 18 plus, where you're actually kind of legally an adult. So your parents can meh all they want, and you'll be like, yo, I'm an adult. Ciao. Um, I guess I should also say your parents want what's best for you. I know that's really, really hard to understand, and I know people probably say that all the time. Your parents just love you and they want what's best for you, and you know what? That's true. They do. They want what's best for you. Um, Another part of it is that it's really hard to see a child grow up and want to be their own person. It's really hard for a parent, and I can understand. I'm not a parent myself, but I can understand that sometimes you raise a kid and you raise them to be a certain person, and then they start going on their own path. And for a parent, it's really hard to watch your kid grow up and become their own person, and they might not be on the path that you want them to, and then you kind of feel like they're like, no, where are you going? Why? I raised you, you're from my womb, why? So I can kind of understand that. I kind of feel like I do that to my parents all the time. And I understand that it's really, really hard to see your kid become their own person. And at such a young age as 12, I can understand this is really hard. Um, you know your family best. That's another thing that Flora said, and it's something that I agree with. You know how your family's going to react. Um, for me, I know that my mom is a little, not more lenient than my dad, but she kind of is more sympathetic, I guess is the best word, than my dad. My dad can be very rigid in his ways, and not really understanding, and my mom has always been the one that is like, I'll be there for you. You need somebody that understands you. Sometimes you just need somebody to be there. Which is why it was a lot easier to come out to my mom. My dad, I think, does have an kind of might know that I'm pagan, but we never talk about it at all because I don't think he likes to deal with that. Um, my best advice is to come up with a solid argument. Don't just go into your parents empty-handed and not with any research because they will pick out everything. Especially if they're as Christian as you say they are. They're going to nitpick at things. It's going to end horribly. I've had this happen to me. It is just not fun at all. Um, my best advice really is to just learn, just study up and learn, and just keep learning, keep reading, keep watching videos. And not just Wicca, I would try other sects of paganism too. Um, Druidry, Asatru, Reconstructionism, Kemetic Orthodox. I don't know what you are interested in personally, but I don't know. Write down kind of what you feel you believe, and don't just look at a Wicca book or a Wicca website and be like, yeah, I believe every single thing that that person says. No. Don't even look at anything. Take a piece of paper and be like, what do I believe about the higher power? Do I see it as a man and a woman? Do I see it as just a power that could be man or woman? Do I believe that there's other different kinds of gods? And if so, do I cater to one pantheon? And by pantheon, if you don't know that word, that's basically like, oh, do I like all the Egyptian gods more? Or Sumerian? Or Greek? Or do I like the Hinduism? Like, Hinduism has like so many gods, I can't even begin. But do you cater to a certain pantheon? What is it about Christianity that irks you? And is it only certain kinds of Christianity? You did mention that you don't want any Christianity in your religion. I want to do a completely different video about that because I'm not going to get into that now. But what is it about Christianity that really irks you? And I mean like really look into it because you might be surprised what kinds of things that Jesus spoke about that you might agree with, and things that just fundamentalist Christians preach all the time that you don't agree with. I would observe nature and write about it. You can start a whole notebook about stuff that you observe from nature that will be really helpful on your path of choice. And that doesn't even have to be pagan-y. It doesn't even have to be. It can be almost like a book of shadows that your parents will not even realize because maybe you'll just seem outdoorsy and like nature all the time. And especially if you have notes that concern, oh, guess what I saw that birds do today, and the chipmunks were doing this, and the wind in the trees reminds me of blah blah blah, something poetic. People are not going to notice that that can be incorporated into a pagan path, at least if they're not familiar with paganism. What else do I have written here? Observe nature, what you believe, what you don't. Keep reading, keep asking questions. That's the biggest thing. Keep asking questions. There are a lot of questions that you may have that a Christian can't answer. And maybe that's one of your biggest things about Christianity is, why does this happen? Why does God believe this? And why don't I believe this? Blah, blah, blah. And that might actually help your argument. But you know your family best. You know how they're going to react. And you know what? Sometimes you just have to just bide your time until you're old enough to stand your ground. It's really hard when you're 12. It's really, really hard when you're 12. I don't want to say just do it in secret because that is something that a lot of, say, authors that cater to teens might say, and I don't really agree with it, to be like, oh, well, I'm just going to do it in secret because that's cool. But this is your path. I would continue just trying to figure yourself out because it's really hard when you were younger. And, yeah, maybe come out to your family in time. I know some pagans who are a lot older than I am and still haven't come out to their family because it's just the generation difference. They don't understand. And it's sad, but sometimes that's how it goes. So, even though you're 12, please try to keep an open mind, keep learning, find out what you really do truly believe. Keep coming back because I really hope that some of my older subscribers will comment with their life experiences and their advice. And just good luck. I know it's really hard, but you are not alone. So good luck with everything. And I hope this did help somewhat. So, yay. Much luck and much love on your path. And that's really all I've got. So, bye.